Good evening from London, guys. This is Naeem Aslam, Chief Market Analyst. Just testing if you guys can see my screen and you guys can also hear me. Please say yes if you guys can, so that I can make sure that everyone is on board for this webinar. Okay, wonderful. We'll be with you shortly. Okay, so let's begin. My name is Naeem Aslam. I'm the Chief Market Analyst at AvaTrade. I run the entire research for AvaTrade's platform, and on a daily basis, we post articles, fundamental articles, which really cover the entire global equity market. And on top of that, on YouTube, I post two different videos. One video is targeted specifically for traders. That covers all the fundamentals in the market for that particular day, and sometimes it also encompasses some other major aspects of the market as well. So in today's webinar, obviously, we are going to talk about how to trade the market turbulence. And it is quite intriguing, which I will show you in a minute, because in our morning video, as I was saying to you, in the fundamental section, we've talked about a lot of number of things, such as possibility of sterling dropping below 1.20, and then now all of you know that it has dropped to to a level that we have not seen in over 35 years. It is trading at 1.15, and then I also did a technical analysis on Bitcoin's price. Talked about like how the price can really evolve. I will talk about all of that in a bit. And more importantly, I've also started a special video about coronavirus and its influence on the financial markets. So first of all, I really wish that all of you guys are safe and you guys are keeping your hands clean, and then staying away from any of the public places. And I really applaud the fact that you guys are out of this turbulence time, that you guys have taken time out to attend the webinar, because obviously, living in London, we can see that the military is moving in, and even in New York, Mayor has also called for a military, and I think in a day or two, the London would be completely on a fully lockdown. So things are just going to get even worse and worse. So it's a really turbulent time. But with respect to this particular webinar, I just wanted to show you the disclaimer, the risk warnings. So anything which will be discussed in this particular video cannot be perceived as an advice. If you are seeking for one, please do consider consulting with your own financial advisor. Now, having said this, let's begin. Let's look at the important information. So first of all, for you guys, if you guys wanted to contact me, if you guys wanted to contact AvaTrade, the best way to get in touch with me is through my Twitter handle. I'm very, very, very active on my Twitter account, and also on my Facebook page as well, which is exactly the same, and also on AvaTrade's YouTube platform, which I will just show you in a bit. In fact, let me just actually bring those ones up right now so that you guys can really see that what I mean. Okay. So this is the AvaTrade's Twitter account. Obviously, the handle is there, so you guys can come and follow us, get all the nuggets that we really talk about on a daily basis. And this is my Twitter account. As you can see, this is very, very active, and I share all the important information with our traders, with our followers, in order to make sure that how active they are and then what exactly they're doing. Especially look at this particular one. When crude oil really dropped below the level of 25 and it went up to all the 22, and now I think it's trading at 21. We will see that. So you guys get all those nuggets and everything else, and when the market is breaking, everything with respect to that. So as for a YouTube channel, so it's obviously on YouTube, you go for AvaTrade, and here are some of the playlists. As you can see, we have a coronavirus daily updates. You can see that what we're really talking about, they're slim, they're short, to the point, talking about the ideas what you should be really looking at. These are fundamental and daily analysis videos, so what we call them videos for traders. So these are encompassing slightly bigger ideas, giving you the background of every single thing with respect to that, and then how really to trade with them. And then we also have, the recordings for our previous webinars, and the technical analysis videos are there as well. So let's go back to our webinar. So as I discussed, so these are the major, the two videos that I really I put a lot of information, I pack enormous amount of information in these two particular videos. So I would highly recommend you guys to follow on the Twitter account, which is right over here, and then also keep watching our videos on a daily basis. So let's begin with the next slide, which is about the agenda. So what would be pretty much discussed in this webinar. We're going to talk about, in this turbulence time, what instruments to trade, right? So we have indices, we have Forex, we have cryptos, we have volatility index. So I'll try to look at the current market state, and then I will talk about how exactly I am taking the approach with respect to the markets, and then how really I'm measuring that approach. What is my analysis with respect to that, and then of course we will try to define some of the levels, and more importantly, we will define a strategy for the DAX index. It is, of course, the same strategy that we've done, we talked about last week, and I wanted to touch a little bit more deeper on that. Once again, this is your chance to really learn and then master that strategy with us, and then see what are the key insights with respect to this particular strategy, right? So let's begin. What we will do is we will bring out first of all, we're going to bring out MT5 platforms. It doesn't matter whether you use MT4 or MT5 platforms, they're all pretty much the same. But just so far, are you guys all good? Are you guys all do you understand? Do you follow where to go in relation to, to find me on the Twitter and to find us on a YouTube? Is that everything clear? Okay, so the questions are coming up about the S&P and all of that. So I will certainly cover all of that for you guys just in a bit. So if you have any favorite instruments, please just push them over here, and then we will do a thorough analysis on that particular instrument. Right. So first of all, one of the most favorite trade that I really love right now is the volatility index, right? So let me bring the volatility index over here. So all what I have to do is just push this volatility index over here. So you can see the volatility index is sitting at a level that we haven't seen in a very long time. Now, in order for me to go back, I think what you do is you just go to your time frames, and then you have to go all the way back to monthly chart. Unfortunately, with this one, we do not have that full information, but in order for you guys, in order for me to give you that information, it's not difficult for me. So we will go to Bloomberg terminal, and then we will bring that information right in front of you guys. So write it, folks. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go to as far as I can go, and I wanted to show you the opportunity right now. Okay, there we go. So during the financial crisis, this touched the level of 89, right? So it is right over here. This was the all-time high if we look at, all the way going back to 1998. And this is a very critical level. And then for me, I think the price, if as like this, if I touch the high of this particular candle, you can certainly bring it up to over here as well. So I think the VIX index has exploded so much that this is a really good contrary trade, because we haven't been to this level in a very long time. As I said, it was back in 2018 when we were really around those levels for this one. So this is really a great short trade if you wanted to do it. So what you can do in this particular trade is, right, so what we're going to do is we're going to run this trade from the top of this particular candle. So the level for that is about 87, right, or 81. Let me just move this chart a little bit on this side so I can give you the exact levels. Okay, I will just maximize it right over here. So, right. So with this level, what I'm really looking at is 81.74. Right now, the price, it has already entered into that particular zone. So let's consider the high of this candle and the high of this candle. So our resistance zone right now is consists of nearly about $8, right? We're gonna place our stop right on top of this one. Guys, please remember that this is a big resistance zone, right? The one which is right in front of you, it is a relatively big resistance zone. So position size yourself accordingly. Don't put a very large position. You can put a large position if you wanted to wait a little bit and let the price come a little bit close to the top of this level. Then you can place a large position as much as your risk is going to allow you. But right now, I would just put a decent trade in because we are in this resistance zone. And with respect to reward, I would not close this trade until and unless the price touches that high of this one, because that is the only decent resistance level that I am really looking at. So that is one of the instruments. So that is the one of the trade that you can really go and then you can really pick on, and then you can start trading with that one, right? Okay. Now, with respect, let's start with the indices. Now, let's move into the equity markets. But before we do, we can always go into our forex market as well, and then have a look at what exactly is going on with the forex market, right? So when I look at, let me just bring this chart a little bit on this side. Obviously, the system is incredibly slow. And there's nothing we can do about that, but obviously it is showing you. So maybe in the meantime we can try to bring the chart over on this side. So in the meantime, we will have it so that you can see it, because I really want you guys to look at the prices with respect to MT4, because obviously that is a platform that you guys trade the most, and then that is what you should be you should get at. But if there is an information which isn't readily available on that, so that's why I bring the Bloomberg terminal, and then this is the additional value that you get by being in the webinars, by attending these webinars. So that's the initial benefit that you get, right? So what I'm really looking at is until 1999, I have nothing. I literally have nothing in terms of my chart. I have no support zone. I have nothing to go back to. So I have to continuously carry on going back and back and back in order for me to find a support. So the last support is going to be right in between that. Like I said, 1985 was the level. The last was the time that last time we saw this one. So in order for you guys, when it comes to styling, we're really looking at, first of all, we were looking at the low right over here, the low of this particular candle, which was at 1.19. Obviously, that of 1.1880, as you can see from the description of this particular wherever my mouse is, and that dialog box which open, it shows you the low of that. Now we have to, obviously, we've broken that low, so we have to go down and down, and then because the biggest support zone obviously is going to be right over here. Let me just zoom that one in a little bit more in order to show you a little bit more clear. So this particular candle is what I'm looking at. So you can see that even the high of this particular candle is 1.24. So that is pretty, we are still very far from that candle. But if we start focusing on this particular candle and then start looking at the stats, the open and the lows of those ones, I think because we are looking on a monthly chart, so that's why we have to pay attention to every single particular candle. I think this could perhaps makes some sort of a sense for us, because this is where we can really get our support and resistance zone given where the price is trading right now. So that is why I'm paying a little bit more attention to this one. And then there you go, it gives us that you see the high of this particular candle, that was 1.1580. So we can take that high as one of the point, and then in order for us, we could, and that was, by the way, also was the open of that particular candle, and then we can take is all the way to 1.13. So let me just draw those lines just in order to do that right over here, and then let me do the over here, and then let me just make the prices a little bit available so that we can we know where the price axes are, and then we can just look on the right hand side and then see what the opportunities are with respect to it. I obviously know where exactly the price has gone, but I just wanted to show you guys so that you can see how exactly to find those levels with respect to a situation like this. Do you see this? I mean, do you actually see this? I didn't even look at the price. And then look where sterling has fallen and then where it is going back now, right? Now, if I change, please take a screenshot. This is very, very important. And I want you guys to understand every single aspect of this. Do you understand it? Do you understand how I have got my support zone out of the monthly chart of the previous candle back from 1985? Great. So take a screenshot of that, because that is where we're going to stop with sterling, because obviously there has been a massive sell-off. So where is the opportunity with respect to that? I think that if you are going to place this trade, which is a very, very huge support zone, but it is a support zone which is very, very interesting, and it is highly likely, then you can perhaps start scaling into this place and then scaling into this support zone. And then in relation to your target, you're really looking at something not less than 1.20 or anything before that, because you really want this trade to go to the top side. But obviously, the UK government is behind it. There's enormous amount of a stimulus going into the market, and the market are just way too crazy with everything else. It's just way too much panic for an unnecessary reason, and because of that, we're seeing all of that. Now, one of you guys have just asked me that can you do the analysis on Nasdaq, which I was going to do that anyway. So let's look at the price action for Nasdaq and then see where exactly what can we drive from Nasdaq's price action. So all what we have to do, we don't have to go back all the way to that. But again, I think that the price chart doesn't really go back till this that far. So we have to, unfortunately, go back to this terminal, and let me just show you again from here that where exactly is the Nasdaq prices are really gonna go, and then what are the levels, and then we will quickly look at NDX as well, and then because of the short time that we have, we will be discussing about the levels in terms of percentages and where I am looking to buy. Okay, now the next question. Are you guys ready? Where to look for the levels? How am I looking at it? First of all, I'm looking at this particular area. Now, I don't want this line. Let me get rid of this particular line. Don't really need it. Okay. I'm looking at the financial crisis level. What I am doing is I'm going to measure this move from the top, which was the peak, all the way to the bottom, 54%. Okay, great. I am not even interested to trade this market until and unless the market really gives me that level, that sort of a discount. So let me delete this one, and let's measure that how low, where are we with respect to all-time high. So we are 29%. Okay, and where is the 50% or more than 50%? There we go. You see, guys, how we are coming into the level, this in nice level of resistance, this support, this consolidation area. So all of that, when you are looking at it, I think all of this is very, very good, which runs from 3760 all the way, runs up to the 4714, right? So nearly $1,000 move, 1,000 point move on this Nasdaq, right? But obviously you can stay a little bit, make it a bit small, because this particular area where the rally particularly started, that is definitely an equally important area of support. So you can certainly consider that. But right now, given where the prices are, what I see is that this level is violated. And if the market is really gonna take off with respect to it, then I'm really looking at this particular level, so which is 5923 all the way to 6323. So nearly about 400 point move with that. And even if the price drops, if it happens with respect to that particular move, then I think we are really looking at, in terms of percentages, we are only looking for 35% correction, and it isn't really that attractive. Let me just measure that move for you. Come on. Stupid. Okay. Let's do it. So, it's the bottom line says 39 and the top line says 34. And right now we are at nearly 29%. So not too far. I think, if you wanted to trade this, I would really go as deep as possible in this particular support zone in order to start with. Anything less than that, I am not really interested to look at. So that is how I look at the indices. Now, quickly to switch over, let's look at the Dow Jones. I promise you, there's not a coronavirus. I think it's just my throat is getting a little bit dry, and because of that. So let's do the similar analysis with the price of S&P 500 index. Again, I'm looking for a 54% discount on this particular price, and then that puts me in this area of support, either right over here, and then I form my area of support by looking at it here. But obviously, a better area of support, if the price continues to sell, then it's going to be right for me, from my perspective, which I really find it attractive, is right over here. And I think this is where the price is pretty much touching 54. And if I go back to 2017 and then I measure the move, I think it's going to be, again, that the price dropped at that time 57. So perfect, it is going to give me this particular area. So I'm looking for a 50% discount. Right now, S&P is trading at 2300. I'm looking for another 1,000-point move on it. And then once that happened, that would be really great. But right now, I am really not interested. I think that, yes, there's certainly a trade to the upside for a contrary trade, which, by the way, if you do the Fibonacci, that trade can go up to 23% of the Fibonacci level, and then the retracement would come. Now, I just wanted to ask you guys, before we move further to the strategy point, are you guys all clear about this? Do you guys agree so far? Frank, I love your comment that you say, luckily coronavirus cannot spread online. Yeah. Yeah, otherwise, like imagine 70 people being in the one place, and that's not even allowed. I think they're saying maximum 3 people can stay in one place. Now, imagine, that's the beauty about it, and that is one of the reasons that I really kind of like it. Now, given the fact that we are on that subject, so let me show you something more beautiful as well. Which is my stock list, what I'm really looking at. And obviously, like I said, I'm not rushing into buying anything yet. I'm looking at the markets very, very closely. I'm looking at, in order for you guys to understand that what factors I am looking at, what signals that I'm looking at. Please continue follow me on Twitter, because I am very, very active on that and on our Twitter account. But in terms of stocks, what my stock list is just over here. It comes right here. Let me bring that up, make it bigger for you. So I'm looking at these particular stocks. I'm very interested in airlines to buy. I think Ryanair does have a good, strong balance sheet, and because of that, it is down only 44% in relative to United Airlines, which is down 76%. With respect to banks, yeah, we're really looking at Goldman Sachs is something that I like. Of course, I have a Bank of America, Morgan Stanley, and JP Morgan as well. Yeah, with the housing, I'm looking for Barrett Development over in the UK. With respect to tech, I love Alibaba. I think that's a pretty good stock. Tesla is a good stock. It's down only 14%. Netflix is the least down stock out of everything. It's down only by minus 2.5%. But because the discount isn't great, so I'm not really gonna go for that. Facebook, there's a good discount on that one, down by 32%. So again, that is a possibility for me that to look at. But I'm really looking at some of the stocks which are really, really down. In terms of utilities, we're looking at Tesco and Sainsbury's. Tesco is down only by minus 10% year to date. All of these stocks, with respect to their all-time highs, I'm gonna really look for 50% discount on them, and then start looking at it, maybe tweak some of that shopping list as well. But that is my shopping list. Now on to the favorite part of our webinar, where we are going to discuss our strategy, right? So again, first of all, let me ask one question. How many of you guys were here last week when I was holding a webinar? Please say yes. Okay, so got only one person who's here, who's who was here, and the rest of them they didn't attend. So everyone is pretty new. Great. Okay, so I will explain the strategy in detail, and then I will leave everything with you guys. Okay, and then what you gotta do is you gotta do. So what do we have is we have a DAX index. I'm using a Bloomberg terminal. I've back tested this strategy over a period of 1 year. The time frame is the most important one, and the derivative is very important because this particular strategy isn't going to work on any other time frame or on any other derivative. Now we know that this strategy is so beautiful that over a period of 1 year, it has given us 53% return, folks. We are up 53%. This is despite the fact that we have large number of losing trades. On the long side, we had 42 trades, 9 winning trades, and 33 losing trades. Similarly, on the short side, we had a 9 winning trade, 34 losing trade, and despite that, we have been able to produce 38% profit on the short side and 14% profit on the long side, giving us total 53%. The question is how we have been able to produce such a great profit. The answer is right over here. Look at my average win. My average win under a portfolio of a 1 million, under which we have done the back test of this one. And by the way, all the trades are right over here with the timestamps and everything, for you to just to show. And then everything is clicked on a Bloomberg terminal. So you can believe that the strategy is being tested on a very reliable and most robust terminal out of everything. So it is pretty good with the result. So I have fine-tuned one of these, what is over here. I have very much fine-tuned it, right? And that's I will tell you all of that in a bit. So average win is 3.02 million and average loss is 371,000. So my win to lose ratio is extremely, extremely profitable. Similarly, on the short side, my average win is 5.96 million, average loss is 431,000. So I know that this strategy is really, really, it's really good and it works really great. And you know what? the other important thing is that the maximum drawdown ratio is only 9% of your portfolio. This is how good this particular strategy is. And all what I am doing is, I'm buying when the price crosses above this particular moving average, which is shown in green, and I am selling it when it crosses below that. Now, in order for you guys, obviously you can see this is an exponential moving average. In order for you guys to know that what is the number of this particular moving average, which I am using, all what you have to do is go to our Twitter account, which is right over here, which we discussed before, and then tweet me and then say, hey, we attended your webinar. Can we have that webinar? Can we have the number of that moving average? And then I will share that with you guys. All you gotta do is just follow and then tweet it back, and then I will give you the number of this particular moving average, and you guys can just literally go onto MT4 platform and just simple as that, plug it in and then watch the magic of this particular moving average. Okay, so I hope I've made myself clear with respect to it. Again, folks, we have come towards the end of our webinar. We've discussed a large number of things. We've discussed the equity market. We've obviously discussed the volatility index, where we spent a lot of time, and we've given you finally the strategy for the DAX index. We talked about that how this strategy has worked so well that the portfolio is up by 50%. So I'll highly recommend you to attend our daily videos on YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter. We are here to help you. So once again, you guys are asking what is my Twitter handle. My Twitter handle, which I showed you before, it is right over here. You guys can see Naeem Aslam 23. Come back over here and AvaTrade, obviously, and then tweet it back to me, and then I will send you that moving average number. Okay. All right, folks. This is where we say goodbye, and sleep tight, stay safe, and I'll see you guys soon. Thank you.